If you've ever had a personal story that left a mark on you, something that made you question the way people think or opened your eyes to a deeper mindset shaping the world around you, then Original Oratory could be a great speech event for you. In this introductory video, let's break down exactly what Original Oratory is, how it works, and what makes it different from other speech events. In later videos, we'll break down all of the components of Original Oratory and teach you how to construct, brainstorm a topic, and actually write one. But for now, this introduction video is just meant to give you a bird's eye view of what Original Oratory is, to help you as you're deciding which speech event is right for you. So Original Oratory, or OO for short, is a 10-minute memorized persuasive speech. You write it, you research it, you perform it, you own it from start to finish. But here's what really makes OO unique. At the heart of every great oratory is a personal story that you will connect to a broader problematic societal mindset that many people have. OO gives you a platform to take a personal experience, something real that shaped how you think or feel, and connect it to this broader societal mindset. The types of stories that could be the kernel for an original oratory, maybe it's the moment or a moment where you felt the sting of being unheard in a space where your voice should have mattered. Maybe it's a moment when love didn't look the way you were told it should. Maybe it was a time when the rules everyone followed felt more like a trap than a guide. That story becomes your entry point into something much larger. So, original oratory is about helping your audience see the world differently through your eyes and then showing them why that shift in perspective matters. So, what makes an original oratory great? A strong oratory begins by connecting that lived experience to a broader idea, a mindset, a belief, a problem that's shaping the way people think or behave and causing harm. So, an example of a type of mindset that an original oratory might end up having at its heart is something like, too often, we let this simplified narrative structure of stories blind us to the complexity of the real world. That was the national champion speech in 2016. So in OO, everything from your storytelling to your arguments to your delivery should feel intentional, personal, and persuasive. The topic should feel big enough to matter to a wide audience, but specific enough that you can actually say something new about it. So if you look down here, you can see these are just some examples I picked of national champions and finalists over the last few years and how they went from their kernel, the core of their speech, which was their personal connection, to a broader problematic mindset. Now, you obviously don't hear this personal connection speech until pretty late into the speech. It's usually around minute 6, 7, maybe 8 that you hear this kind of dramatic personal story. And what you end up hearing at first is the problematic mindset. But all of these speakers started from a place of that personal connection, and then they built the speech out from that. So On God, for instance, his national champion speech in 2025 started from a place of seeing his father, after being called Osama bin Laden, quietly praying for change but not taking any action. And On God seeing a broader pattern of discrimination against the Sikh community turning to prayer, but nothing really happening. And On God refusing to stay quiet in the face of that injustice. That experience of injustice towards his own religious community led to the broader articulation of his mindset, which was just the belief that offering thoughts and prayers is a sufficient response to tragedy instead of action, that's bad. Or in 2024, On God had a story about his grandparents having to hide their Sikh identity during a genocide in India. And On God, he connected that to an experience where On God was told to shave his facial hair in high school despite its religious significance. And so On God saw a pattern in both of those stories about us wanting to avoid controversy, just go with the flow. And in doing so, we silent important conversations through censorship and cultural erasure, and ultimately that prevents growth and harms future generations. And you can see these stories really range in their experiences. For instance, in 2019, Harris, his personal story was about a neighbor telling him after Trump's Muslim ban, but you have nothing to fear because you're one of the good ones. So notice this isn't as intense as what's going on in 2024 with On God's speech, where he's talking about a genocide going on, but it still serves as a very meaningful and personal kernel for what will be a problematic mindset. That one was about oversimplifying the inherently complex with disturbing frequency. Or in 2024, Esther, the national champion that year, had a story about her teacher being silenced and suspended for designating a gender-neutral bathroom at a tournament. And she connected that to the way that bad faith leaders use protect the children rhetoric as a Trojan horse for discrimination to gain and maintain power. So, original oratory is all about this tight connection between your personal experience and some sort of broader mindset. And you're going to use those two in conjunction with each other to really move an audience emotionally and inspire them to want to change the way that they think about something in the world. And so I think that's one of the key differences between OO and other events. While informative speaking focuses on revealing the hidden layers of a topic, original advocacy focuses on proposing a solution to a government policy failure, or the extemporaneous events are about constructing a speech with a limited amount of time on current events, and the interpretation events are about acting out a script that you have cut, OO is fundamentally about persuading and inspiring people to care, and that persuasion starts with you. So that's why I say down here that this is much more relying on ethos and pathos than logos. You're going to be inspiring the audience to change the way that they think and act, and that's going to be about garnering credibility from you as a speaker, of someone who is authentically connected to this topic in a way that has emotional stakes for you, and also using pathos and building that emotional connection with your audience. So your goal isn't just to inform or to construct a very analytically well-constructed argument, but rather to move people emotionally. So, if you have a story that stayed with you, a moment that shaped how you see the world, and you're ready to connect that story to something deeper, Original Oratory might be your event. You're not giving a lecture, you're not making a policy pitch, you're not just presenting facts. You're crafting a message that reflects your own story and its intersection with broader mindsets and societal values. I definitely recommend that you go and watch more original oratories if you're seriously contemplating this event, just so that you have a better idea of exactly what this event looks like. Even though this video should have given you a pretty good introduction of what I think are the most important facets of original oratory, the best way to really understand it is just by watching as many national finalists as you can. Hopefully this gave you a great overview to original oratory, and in the upcoming videos, we'll look at the other speech events.